Hello, this is Dr. Dave Gaitros, and we're on Unix today, COP 3353 students, or again, anyone who's interested. I want to show you a few more commands that you'll find helpful. The first one is a print working directory. It's a pwd. We'll go over here to the screen, pwd, and what it does is it displays the current directory that you're in, the complete path name. This one is /home, faculty, Gaitros D, public HTML, classes COP 3353, and then sample scripts. Very handy to find out exactly where you're at, and this can be used in parsing in scripts that you're writing in Unix. The second thing I'm going to show you is a sort command, and the sort command allows us to sort the contents of a field, and it's a very flexible utility. It's used quite a bit. Before I do that, let me create a file, and I'm going to use a previous command we've used, our ls, and I'm going to redirect that to a file called dir.out. Okay, so we'll do a more on dir.out, and we see the contents, and we'll look to the left. It's separated by spaces. You can change how this is output and input, but basically the first field is the permissions, the second one is the ACL list, the third is the owner, then the group, then the size, the month, the day, and then the time, and then the file name itself. So there are several fields in there that we can look at. Well, let's look at the fifth field, which is the size of the field, and we want to sort based upon that. How would you do that? Well, you would do this. You would say sort, and then we say -k, and then we give it the number 5 for the fifth field. Now, since we want to do a numeric sort, we have to tell it to do a numeric sort. Otherwise, it's going to treat that column as just a list of characters, and that includes the spaces in it too, and we don't really want to do that. We want to treat it as a number, so we put the -g option in there, and then we say dir.out. And then we look and we see, it's sorted on that list right there. It's very nice. The other options that you can use with this is let's do the names, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's see, the ninth field. Let's try that. Let's see, sort -k9. Oh, dir.out. There we go, dir.out. The other thing that we can do is we can actually say ignore case. So we'll do -k, and you can combine them. You can say -f, which is ignore case, and it will treat upper and lower case as the same. The other thing we can do too is we can say -o as output. We can say -o is my directory.out, and instead of going to the screen, we can do a more directory.out. Oops, it didn't create it. Yep, there it is. Okay, more equals into directory.out. There it goes. Don't put the equal sign there. I made a mistake there. So whenever you're doing the command, just leave off the equal sign. Those are very useful commands as output. Now, you saw me do some redirections. Okay, let me clear this up. You do an ls-l, and you saw me do that redirections, and that redirects it. If I put a ampersand there, okay, then that says redirect the standard output and standard error. So if there were an error that were produced while I was doing this, instead of coming to the screen, it would go to that file also. The other option that I can use is the 2 greater than symbols. And what that would do is, and I'm going to show you more dir.out, and what it did was it appended it to it. In other words, it added it to that file. Very handy thing to do. Okay, clear. Okay, go to the next one. We'll clear this. Okay, very good. Now grep. Okay, grep's also a very handy thing to know how to do. And let me remove dir.out. Okay, so we get rid of that. And grep, if you look it up, allows us to search a file for a string of characters. Now let's do the dir.out or the ls and see, well, okay, we see example in there. We see that quite a bit. So let's do this. Let's create the file ls-l dir.out, and then what we'll do is we'll grep for the term example in dir.out. Okay, and what it shows us, it shows us every line that actually has that in it. Okay, now if I want to display the numbers, okay, put the dash in there. Okay, and it displays the line numbers of where it actually occurred inside that file. Also a very handy feature to know how to do. Okay, now let's go back here. The other thing I want to show you, it's a very brief demonstration, is word count. Okay, let me recreate dir.out ls-1. Okay, and I'm going to put that to dir.out, and if you'll recall what ls-1 does, it puts one name per file. So we'll do more on dir.out. There we have it. Okay, now clear. I'm going to do a word count. WC, word count, very handy utility. It counts the number of words, lines, and characters in a file. So if I do dir.out, it says there's 22 lines, 22 words, and 225 characters in it. Now if I just want to know the words, I can just say word count -w dir.out, and now I have the number of words in that file. That's pretty cool. I also can do the WL for number of lines and -C for number of characters. Now let's say that I want to let me remove dir.out. Okay, clear. Alright, so let me show you how to do piping. Okay, this is a very simple example. Do ls-1, and that, you know what that's going to produce. That's going to produce the files one per line, and then I'm going to pass that output to word count. And I'm going to say give me the number of words in that. So what this does is it does the list structure command, one line per file, and then passes that output to word count, which is going to count the number of words. So this tells me 21, tells me how many files I have in my directory. Okay, I want to know how many directories I have in there. Well, I can use the -d */ and do the same thing. It says I have 3 directories in my file. Alright, very good, very useful little examples, and I hope you learned something. On to our next series of instructions.